beautiful people. I'm here back with my second video. Woo. Hey, anyway, so this video, I feel like this time I'm getting more into like the style I want this channel to go into. And one of the topics that popped in my head was tips for healing. Now, if you watch my first video, you'll know that the first time, you know, like that I did a video that was like the first time I did it. Like I've never I never did anything like that before. But I mean, you know, I feel like I had this calling and I needed to speak up. I needed to talk. I needed to get out there. I needed to see if I could reach people, and I felt like this was the perfect way to do it. So here I am, and if you're watching, I want to say thank you. I appreciate you. You're a real one. And yeah, so now again, I am not fully healed. I have a long way to go. I have a lot. But the important thing about healing is that you are going to heal throughout your life for different reasons, different stages. It's not going to be this one time you're going to turn into a perfect human being. You'll have so many lessons or cycles or transformations, anything that'll cause you to go into like this hermit mode or solitude, or you know, just hide out, you know, and most of the time it's because you got some work to do. You got some, I know a lot of people call it shadow work. You got some shadow work to do, or you just have a lot of healing. And you know, sometimes it's not always easy for us to pinpoint how we can heal. I always see people asking questions, so how can I heal? Or you know, how can I do my shadow work? How can I work through this? How can I work through that? It's not one way to do it. It's not. But luckily, I know it's a couple ways. I know it's a couple ways. Now, one thing that I think is like very important for healing and just working on any trauma or you know, anything like that, you have to go back to your roots. It is so important for you to go back to your roots. And I know this because when I'm talking to older people, I know for a fact one thing that I can say I learned from them is they have a lot of experiences, a lot of memories, you know, just so much knowledge. And even sometimes with all that knowledge, if you aren't confronting things or taking accountability or recognizing things for what it is, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can still need healing. And the reason why I brought up older people is because you know, especially being a Black person, you can relate that we have a lot of generational trauma. A lot. It's so much, and it's like more than I think we think. And when I say we, I'm talking about my generation, Sag, Pluto, Scorpio, whatever. It's important for us to really tackle these things head on. And you can notice a lot about the things that you've been dealing with, you've been needing to heal, when you look into your past, look into your childhood, look into those triggers. You know, why do you get so nervous when someone, you know, says something about your appearance? Why does it get you so agitated? Maybe it's because when you were younger, you had a very strict parent that was really like overbearing, or not even overbearing, but like nitpicky at your appearance and how you did things. And as an adult, it can make you really, what, why you say that? What does it look like? What? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, So noticing those patterns, just acknowledging them, literally just acknowledging them, it can bring you a newfound awareness that you probably never thought that you would have. And it's really important. It's really important. It's more important than you would think. And it can be the smallest things, like why you're so like, okay, so some people have some obsessive habits or disorders, and they can manifest in different ways as an adult. If it's not a mental illness, it can manifest in different ways. Like, for example, some people may have like ADHD or anxiety, or the obsessive order with cleanliness and everything, OCD. Sometimes those things can stem from the trauma that you have as a child, or it doesn't even have to always be a child. It can be a teenager. It can be anything like that. But recognizing those things can bring some insight, some awakening, some spiritual relapse. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, once you start really paying attention to those things, other things will start feeling clearer. So, for example, if you had this strict parent that was always nitpicky about your appearance, when you go over your parents' house and they're like, oh, look like you gained a few pounds, it will no longer trigger you. Or, you know what I'm saying? And of course it's going to take a while, but at the same time, once you recognize those things, it'll feel less overbearing to you. So yeah, definitely recognizing patterns and behaviors that you have that may have manifested in different ways throughout your life, even down to romantic relationships or just friendships, anything like that. Look into your childhood. Pay attention to your family. See why they do things, like, you know, codependency, or, you know, just any type of habit that you have that you know you need to let go of. It can be very beneficial to healing. So, and it all comes down to being self-aware. You have to be self-aware of these things, and that takes time. We are like we're human. We're human, and we make mistakes and we go through things, and sometimes it takes us a long time to acknowledge who we are, or things that we're used to that we never really paid attention to, but is a big flaw for other people. And it's hard to take accountability sometimes, but if you are dedicated to healing, then you gotta go and do that work. You gotta go and do that work, baby girl, baby boy. You gotta do that work. And yeah, it's not as complicated as it may seem, but it is tough, because you'll start to see stuff like, for example, I was adopted. And I had to realize a lot of the patterns and behaviors that I had. It wasn't from my adoptive family. Some of those things that I couldn't understand, or other people couldn't understand about me, was things that was in my parents, my actual parents. And for the longest, I kind of not ignored their existence, but like I was so numb to like always wondering, you know, if you are adopted, or, you know, you've been in a situation where you haven't been with your birth parents, then you know what I'm talking about. But if you don't, sometimes you can feel like misplaced. And even when you do find that home parents, you can still feel lost. And it took me so long to recognize a lot of the patterns that I had, but once I started being around my parents and talking to them, and realizing a lot of the behaviors that I had, it gave me some healing. It gave me some healing in both families. I no longer felt misunderstood with my adoptive family. I no longer felt alienated from my parents and, you know, my family and everything. And it brought some healing to me. And I think a lot of that also manifested, like, me having like an identity crisis. I didn't know where I belonged. I did not know where I belonged. I didn't know if I had to fit in. I didn't know if I had to fit out. I didn't know where exactly I was in the category. It caused a lot of overthinking and just a lot of conflict. And I'm young. I'm only in my 20s, and you know, I'm not saying that we have to be perfect, but in order to grow, you have to heal. You have to. Yeah, it's just really important. So yeah, those are a couple of, you know, other tips that I have. Some more tips that I have to healing. To me personally, I feel like getting connected to any type of source. And when I say source, I'm very open-minded. I'm not, you know, a Bible thumper or super spiritual and, you know, whoop-de-woo. I'm not all that. Whatever your source is, get connected to it. Your source can be knowledge, it can be books, it can be reading, it can be traveling, it can be family, it can be you know, your soulmate, it can be anything like that. Whatever source you have, God, deities, goddesses, I don't know, fairies, whatever it is, get connected to it. As human beings, we have to realize that we're divine creatures and we're just living in a human experience. That's all. You know, like our bodies are vessels. Energy always moves. It always moves and never stops. But in order to heal, you have to be connected to some type of source that's bigger than you, and something that gives you meaning, something that gives you life. You know what I'm saying? And when you do that, things will start popping up for you. And when I say things, I mean messages or you know, something that you need to hear. Like, for example, if you are into spirituality, getting connected with your ancestors, your angels, your guides, or, you know, anything like that, when you get connected with them, and you reach out to them and you tell them how grateful you are, and, you know, you show love and recognition to them, they will provide you with more answers. Because, you know, it has to be a reciprocal thing. Even if it's going to church, or, you know, if you go to the masjid, if you go to the Kingdom Hall, like whatever you go to, go seek out answers, ask for answers. You don't even have to believe in God. Whatever source you have, if you believe in the earth more than you believe in man upstairs, go ask questions, seek answers, get connected to source. That is one of the most genuine things I could say that works all like well-rounded for everyone. Like, it's, you just have to get connected to your source. Whatever you choose, whatever you can do, get connected. And again, the answers will pop up with you. Sometimes they'll pop up through strangers. Sometimes a message will come through a video like this, or you know, driving past and seeing a license plate and you see all numbers, or you're listening to a song and it's saying the same, like the exact thing that you need to hear. A message will come for you. It always comes. Because the thing about the source, it can be, I would say, when you're connected to source, that type of like energy can be transmuted through anything. Literally anything. You have to have that much faith though. You have to believe that. And the reason why I'm saying source speak is because, like, some people don't believe in God, and some people, they don't even believe in all this energy stuff, spiritual stuff. They don't believe in that. But the answers they'll come to you either way. You just gotta have some faith in something. Faith is very important. But yeah, that's like one of my, I will always stick by that. whoever I meet. And I meet people all the time. It's like, yeah, I never really been into that type of stuff, but I do know it's just somebody out there that's in charge of all this, or something. You know, some people never get into that, but they know that it is something that's responsible for life. And whatever it is, call. Pick up the phone. And when you listen to that song, it's giving you the exact message that you need. Or when you're looking at the TV and somebody say a line that's like super connected to you in a weird way, it's for you. Pick up the phone. Yeah, yeah, that's one of the ways that you can find your healing. And another one is, this is one of my favorites. I feel like sometimes everyday life, when we're moving and we're pushing forward and we have all of this pressure to be rich and get money and marry and have kids and be well off and go to school and college. So I forgot what I was saying. Another one of my favorite things that I've discovered that helps with my healing is connecting to my inner child. And that can mean a lot of different things for different people. And on a broader aspect, connecting to your inner child could be just getting back to creativity, things you love, things that give you joy, fulfillment, and put that warm feeling in your heart, things that activate your heart chakra, you know what I'm saying, like something that divine. You can get back to that multiple ways. Like for example, I feel like one of the ways I get back to my inner child is through painting or playing with little kids, or watching a old school cartoon or something like that. Like anything like that, it kind of puts me back into my little me. And it makes me feel safe. It makes me feel secure. It makes me feel like I have no worries. It makes me feel like all of the burdens of being an adult goes away temporarily. It brings me some satisfaction. And I feel like everybody should do that. Like some people, they get back to their inner child with cooking. That could have been a favorite thing as a child. They used to watch their mom cook on the stove or bake something and, mix a little bowl with her or something like that. Those are ways you can get back to your inner child. Playing a sport. You may have been running track, when you was younger, the teen or something like that. Go on that track field. Go walk out there. You didn't have to run. But get back to your inner child. You have to go back to little you. And another way to do that, it doesn't always have to be action. You could write a letter. I heard this a while ago. I think I heard it or read it a while ago, and it was probably one of the most beautiful things I ever did for myself. It was writing a letter to little me, little Megan, and it was beautiful, because I remember being a child and being like, if I came back, from the future to right now to tell myself something, I would probably be so amazed. I used to think this as a child. So as adult me right now, when I was doing it, I thought about what I wanted to hear. And I told her everything she needed to hear. Everything she went through. I told her everything that she went through, and gave her reassurance and comfort. I just told myself everything I needed to hear as a child. And even now as an adult, I get a lot that I'm not really good with my emotions and feelings and expressing myself, and I'm learning, I'm healing. But one of the things I told myself is like, you can feel, you are capable of that. You just wasn't taught the right way. But that's like an exercise when it comes to healing. It's like, even I've heard like people have did this in therapy, because it is an actual thing. It's very real and it's very helpful. it's like you're reminding yourself, you're holding, you know, the child like you and giving it reassurance. Because believe it or not, even as adults, every now and then that child comes out. It can come out when you're playing a video game, or you go roller skating, or you go to the beach, or anything like that. You're like, oh my God, like you get that feeling. That's child you gotta get back to that. It's healing. It's healing, because when we're kids, we are pure. You know, we haven't experienced all of the chaos, you know, and the stress, and you know, all these things that we experience as adults. We haven't got to that yet. So we are our most pure selves. We are our most truest selves. Even, you know, when we was little, when we was talking about what we wanted to be, even though we ain't done that, we probably wasn't that scientist slash astronaut that we was dreaming of. But at one point we thought we was capable of, because we had all that courage, we had all of that confidence, because we were children and we believed anything. So sometimes you have to go back to thinking like that, because that's the only way you can find yourself in a better place. So getting back to your inner child is very important. But yeah, I want to wrap this up, and I just want to end it and just say that I really hope that this finds the right person. And if you are watching this and it has resonated with you, you are beautiful, you are worthy, and you will heal. And I love you, if no one has told you. All right, guys, until next time.